Hello, everyone. Welcome to today is March 7th, 2024. I'm Sid Notter. I'm here with my friend Gigi Carter, and we're talking about the Vegan Health Bundle 2024, which is available now through midnight on March 10th, 2024. And before we talk about that in depth, though, Gigi has contributed a product. Gigi and her partner Cersei have contributed a product to the bundle, which she's going to talk to you about, and she's going to do a cooking demo for us. So thank you for being here, Gigi. It's so nice to see you.
Oh, thank you, Sid, for having me. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, so Cersei and I run a program called Healthy for My Purpose, and a part of that program is our recipe website, which is danielsplate.com. And so over the last, 4 years now that we've been doing this almost, we have created a collection of healthy, whole food, plant-based, no oil, no added sugar recipes. And one of the recipes that I'm going to prepare today is actually included in the bundle. But what we did contribute to the bundle are kind of two things. One is a webinar replay called Daniel Fast, Why You Should Only Do It Once. It's a replay of a webinar we did with a church. And it kind of walks you through kind of the crux of the book that we wrote, of the same title, Daniel Fast, Why You Should Only Do It Once, and covers both the nutrition science. And I always like to say that science is catching up with what's in the Word of God. And then Cersei goes into a very moving kind of talk slash sermon, connecting our health to our purpose and our divine purpose. And so we are super excited to be part of the bundle. And then the second part of it is the recipe piece of it. So we've got a replay of a cooking class that we hold with the people that are in our group twice a month. And so I took one of the replays from that and included that in the bundle along with a recipe ebook. So the bundle that we contributed includes the webinar, a downloadable journal. It's like an e-journal, 4-week journal to help you kind of use the Daniel Fast as a jumping off point to a long-term sustainable, healthy lifestyle. And then the recipe piece includes the meal prep cooking class, as well as a downloadable recipe ebook. So all of that's included in the bundle. It is such a great deal. I mean, this bundle is just mind-blowing what a great deal it is. So this is our first year being a part of it, and we're just super excited to contribute something.
Wonderful. So, wow, you've got a lot of things in the bundle. You've got the webinar of your book, The Daniel Fast, Why You Should Only Do It Once, a webinar on that. You've got this recipe book that you're going to demonstrate from now, and a journal. And what was it about the meal prep? Is that in your cookbook as well? How to meal prep or?
Yeah, we've got included in the bundle a video replay of one of our meal prep cooking classes that we hold with our group. So in that replay, I'm making two different recipes so whenever we do a meal prep cooking class, we usually make two recipes, and it sets people up, for the week and sometimes beyond. And so in that bundle, you'll get a chance to, cook along with me. The recipes are included, and then you can cook along with me with the replay, basically, at your convenience or leisure. But it's a great way to, and I love this virtual world we're in now. I mean, one of the benefits, I think, of what happened during the pandemic was it really connected us virtually. So this meal prep cooking class we hold virtually. And so it's just basically bringing your phone or your tablet or your PC, your laptop into the kitchen with you, and then just cooking virtually like we're doing here. And so that's what that replay is about. It's just one of the cooking classes that we did.
Awesome. So what are you making today for us, Gigi?
Well, I am making a white bean kale soup. And this is actually a recipe that I started making probably within the first 3 or 4 years that I was into this whole food plant-based journey. So my journey started back in 2012. I'm coming up on my 12th year anniversary
Mhm.
of being whole food plant-based. And this recipe was one that I took an existing recipe from a cookbook that I had and just completely veganized it and modified it, but kept some of the kind of same approaches to how it's cooked, and
Mhm.
it's super easy, super fast. In this recipe, I'm using some canned cannellini beans, but you
Mhm.
can absolutely make your own beans. You could do, just make your own beans in your instant pot, stovetop, slow cooker, however you cook your beans. You could also use butter beans in substitution of cannellini beans. But it's really quick, really easy. It takes less than a half hour to make. And yeah, so that's what I'm making today. Would you like me to get
Great.
started, Sid?
Yes, please.
I know. All right. So I'm going to tilt my camera down so you can kind of see what I'm doing while I talk. And so I'll be pivoting up and down here. So I've got a pot here, kind of preheated already on my cooktop here, and all of our recipes are no oil recipes. So I'm going to just go ahead and add my onions right to the pan and let them start cooking. And are you no oil too, Sid, or are you an oil person?
No, absolutely no oil.
No oil. Okay. Yeah.
Nope. There's just too much research showing why we should not eat extracted oils, which is the pure fat of a food.
Right, right, right. From lips to hips, right? That's what Cersei likes to say. Yeah. All right. So I'm just gonna let this hang out and get a little brown, and and for those who have not cooked without oil before, this is a game changer, especially if you're trying to lose weight. Just because 1 tablespoon of oil has about 120 calories in it, so when you eliminate that, you are, putting yourself in a great position to lose any excessive weight that you might, be looking to lose. So this is already starting to brown a little bit, and of course,
Hmm.
if it sticks, you can just splash in a little water or vegetable broth just to release it. But a lot of times, I find that the water um, in the vegetable just kind of comes out naturally and keeps it from sticking.
Hmm. They already look like
Uh,
they're caramelizing.
yeah, they are. They are. So now I'm going to add my chopped carrot, and I'm going to add some garlic. And then I'm going to add my spices, not all of my spices. I'm just going to add my thyme right now. And the star of the show, or one of the two stars of the show, my cannellini beans here. And if you are using canned beans, it's always good to get no salt added or low sodium. And then you could just drain and rinse them just to get any excessive salt out. And then I'm using a low sodium vegetable broth here. And you need about 2.5 cups. I'm going to eyeball it. I've made this so many times, so I kind of know how much I need. And all right. So that's a little more than half of this carton. Each carton's about 4 cups. All right.
Mhm.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this come to a gentle boil. And then I'm going to just kind of let it, simmer and just kind of cook through. Basically, what we're doing is we're cooking the carrots, the garlic, and then, just letting all the flavors come together. And
Mhm.
then what I'll do is, and we'll walk through it later, is after it's done cooking, then I will hit it with an immersion blender, and then I'll add in my miso paste and a little nutritional yeast, and then basically, and then throw in the kale at the end to let it wilt, and then it'll be done. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of let this kind of do its thing, and then we can continue chit-chatting if you want.
Okay. Yeah. So
So
let me
yeah.
unpin you. There we go.
Awesome.
Yeah. So other things that we know that are in the bundle, well, I'll share a few things that I've got in there. We have the scrumptious plant-based burgers and more class, which
Yum.
is filled with burgers and side dishes, Italian pizza burgers, fiesta fajita burgers, pasty burgers, all kind of different things. So I think it would have something for everyone because the variety and the flavors are so different in that book. So that is a video cooking class as well as the cookbook. And then I have a class with Eileen Kapsaftis where we combined our two separate bone health classes into one to create a course called Age Well with Strong Bones. Is that your stove, Gigi, telling you it's ready?
That is my rice cooker,
Oh,
actually,
okay.
because my intention is to throw a little scoop of rice when I get ready to eat this.
Oh, okay.
Just put a little scoop of rice on there just to add a little more plant diversity. So
Yeah.
I have a little wild rice blend that I bought from my co-op. They have the bulk section at the
Mhm.
store, and they've got all the different rices. Well, they had one with like, I think it had maybe 5 or 6 different grains in it, some wild rice and some other grains. I have no idea what's in it, but I just bought like a small little baggie of it, about maybe less than a cup. And I was like, well, let me try that with this soup. So I
Mm,
just threw it on there about an hour ago, put it in my rice cooker, and it just finished. So
perfect.
that's the beeping you hear. Yeah, but this soup goes really well with also like with a sweet potato or something on the side, or
Mm,
some kind of starchy veg is good with it too. So
yum. Sounds good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I've also got an ebook in the course too, which is titled The Plan A Diet, combining whole food plant-based nutrition with the timeless wisdom of scripture. And Gigi was kind enough to interview me yesterday on the topic of the overview of that book as well. What else is in the bundle that you're interested in, Gigi? Have you had a chance to take a look at it?
Yeah, I looked at a few things. There's definitely several different recipes. The one that I'm kind of gravitating towards trying are some of the raw vegan recipes that are in the bundle. I've always had this kind of desire to eat more raw vegan. Obviously,
Mhm.
like I eat a huge raw salad pretty much every single day, a huge salad with a lot of raw veggies, but I've not necessarily dipped my toe into like dehydrating some foods. I have a dehydrator, but it's just sitting in a box. I'm like one of those where I'll get excited about a gadget, I'll buy
Mhm.
it, and then I won't use it for like a couple years.
Yeah.
so I'm kind of excited about leaning into some of these raw vegan recipes personally. So and I when I lived in California, this must have been this was actually before I adopted this plant-based lifestyle. It was in probably maybe 2008 time frame, 2009.
Mhm.
And my office was in Orange County in Irvine, California. And so I would often go out to lunch with different people, and there was this one raw vegan restaurant in Huntington Beach that I would go
Mm,
to, that my coworker's wife worked at. And so that kind of introduced me to raw vegan food. And they had like chocolate mousse that was made out of like avocados. They had things like pizza that was made out of just seeds and sun-dried tomatoes. And so nothing is basically cooked over, I think it's like 118 degrees or somewhere around
mm,
there, 115 or 118 Fahrenheit. And so I got exposed to it, but I never personally actually tried to make it myself.
mhm.
So that's why I'm super excited about that part of the bundle. But there's so much in that bundle. I mean, it's
Mm,
mind blowing how much is in there. And
mhm.
I'm glad they give people a year to like download it and access it, because you're going to need it. You're going to
Yeah.
need a year to like go through everything.
I know it. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm interested to learn more about that too, about adding more raw foods to my diet as well. So I know there's a lot of raw recipe people in there, and so I'm interested in that too. And Dr. McDougall's course on gut health, that alone is
Hmm.
worth $95. And that hasn't been released yet to the public, but it's priced at $95 when he releases it. And you get that plus everything in the bundle for $49. So the
Hmm.
link to the bundle will be below this video. So check that out. So
Yeah.
there's other things too, like Tammy Kramer's course, Cooking for Company. How often do we hear somebody say, I've got company coming over that does not eat plant-based. What am I going to make for them? So she has 10 complete meals, like, the entree, the dessert, 10 complete meals that you could make for company, which I think is very appealing. There's Vicki Brett Gock's dessert book, Feel Great Desserts.
Mm.
I interviewed her and she made the chocolate sauce and she's got brownies and ice cream and crisps, pies. Oh my goodness. That looks amazing too. I can't wait to dig into that. And then Dr. Lori Marbus too, she has a class on what blood test you should order if you're a plant-based eater. And I think that's very interesting because
Mm.
we order our own blood tests. So I find that course is going to be a very interest to me, big interest
Hmm.
for me. So I know what if I'm ordering correctly, what I'm ordering. And then Tim Kaufman, he's lost over 200 pounds. Do you know Tim Kaufman from Fat Man Rants? He's just an
No.
incredible speaker, and he's going
Yeah.
to be in the Christian course with us and everything. But
Nice.
he has a thing in there, 5 key strategies for sustainable weight loss. So who better to learn from than someone who's lost and kept off 200 pounds, right?
That's a lot of weight. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tremendous. Wow. Yeah, well, that's
Mm.
exciting. Yeah, I am just thrilled to be a part of it this year, and I think, and like you said, I think it's going to take a while to get through all of it, but you know what? It's okay, because like you mentioned yesterday, once you download it, you have it for life. So
Hmm.
so you have access to it whenever you feel the need to access it, or have the time to. But
Hmm.
yes, so my soup is coming to a boil, so I'm going to turn it down and just put the lid on and let it continue to just kind of simmer for about 10 minutes or so. We're just kind of wanting the carrots to soften and let all the flavors come together, and then we'll kind of take it from there.
Okay.
So yeah, Sid, how long have you been? I don't know if we asked you this before. How long have you been eating this way?
Well, I started 34 years ago, but I certainly wasn't doing it correctly at first. We became
Oh.
vegetarians for several years, eating still cheese pizza and Dairy Queen blizzards and Hostess cupcakes. Then I switched to a healthier junk food vegan diet with the fake hot dogs, the fake crumbly stuff that has whey in it, dairy. So a healthy junk food, bad vegan junk food diet for several years. And then about 15 years ago, went completely went completely in, I can't talk, with whole food
Mhm.
plant-based, no added oil. So
Yeah.
15 years the right way and about 15 years the wrong way. So don't transition like I did. I tell people.
Yeah. 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 I have
Yeah.
kind of a similar story. I had high cholesterol when I was 35 years old, and the doctor wanted to put me on this statin drug, and it was like I was like, I am too young to be going on this kind of medication. I mean, it was just crazy. And so anyway, I because he did like a carotid artery scan of my neck, and the whole lipid panel, and they were showing plaque forming in my carotid artery. Said I had the arteries of a 46-year-old, and so
Mm.
it was kind of, when you're 35 and they're saying you're getting old on the inside, it was a little scary. I remember calling my mom. I was like, Mom, this doesn't sound too good. And anyway, I had learned about the work of Dr. Dean Ornish, who, you know, as you know, he's just he's like the I think the godfather of lifestyle medicine. His lifestyle heart trial was just groundbreaking, done in the 1990s, you know, and here we are in 2024, and people
Mm-hmm.
still don't know about it.
Right.
And I mean, it's mind blowing. And and so it was just you know, I knew about, you know, the power of whole food plant based back then, but I remember having this limiting belief. I was just like, I can't live without my cheese. I can't live without this. I can't live without. I literally thought my life would be over if I stopped eating certain foods. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in hindsight, it's mind blowing, you know, that I had that belief. But I think a lot of people do, you know, when they first
Mm-hmm.
learn about the power of whole food plant based. But I'm here to tell you, you know, it took me 5 years to finally do what I knew was going to solve my health problems. And the only regret I have is not doing it when I first learned about it. I basically wasted those years just delaying, you know, obedience. You know, I think the Holy Spirit was telling me back then, change your diet, and I just wouldn't do it, you know, and you know, it was out of fear or whatever. But I'm glad I did end up doing it, and you know, no turning back. It's kind of like best decision ever. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, obviously I reversed my high cholesterol. I lost the weight I had gained mental spiritual clarity. I started bike racing at 42 years old.
Mm.
So yeah, now I'm in my early mid 50s, and just, you know, grateful to have gone. I'm the only woman in my family that didn't gain that menopausal belly weight. Like
Mm-hmm.
pretty much everyone in my family has overweight or obesity. It just, you know, and it's all lifestyle related. I'm the only one
Mm-hmm.
that eats this way in my family, and the only one that has a healthy weight.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot deny, you know, the benefits of eating this way on your temple. So grateful I'm doing it.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
you've been doing it since 2012, you said,
Yes.
faithfully since then. Okay,
Mm,
so 12
yeah.
years. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Now, is your
Yeah.
husband on board with you too, or is it just you?
He is on board. Praise
Mhm.
God, because I don't know. I'm not sure I could handle. Maybe I could, but you know, I'm just grateful that he's totally
Yeah.
on board with it too. And
Mm.
that's made it a lot easier for me to prepare meals, because I just make one meal for us.
Yeah.
And you know, it just is a, you know, a blessing, I'll say. So
Do you have
yeah.
any tips for people that are the only person in their household that are eating whole food plant-based? Do you have any suggestions for them or?
Yeah, I mean, I have, and I haven't, you know, I haven't lived in that situation, but I, you know, obviously have been with people who have who are in that situation now or have gone through it. And typically, and it depends on your household. I think what most people do is they just be the leader in their family. They eat the way, you know, um, that they want to eat in order to protect their temple, and just be that example. I had another client who also took the stance of, with her husband, you can eat what I cook, or you can go out and get your own food. It's your choice. Or make
Mhm.
your own food. I mean,
Mhm.
she was not going to be making no two meals. You know, that was
Mhm.
not her thing. And so what happened with in that scenario was he eventually just transitioned because he was enjoying the food that she was making. So
Mm.
it wasn't a matter of, you know, um, going hungry or not enjoying the food. And I think that's another tip, if you are going to take that stance and create, you know, recipes for everyone, that you know, really focus on making food taste good.
Mhm.
And that will help to bring people along sooner. And yeah, so basically with her situation, she basically took that hard stance. And then And so when they would go out to eat, that's when he would order, something that wasn't plant-based, but then eventually he just went all in. It was kind of like
Mm,
a transition over a couple of years to kind of
mm,
go all in. Um, so, I think each family's dynamic is different, and you just have to kind of figure out what's most suitable for your particular family and your situation.
mhm.
Yeah.
And so you and Cersei met online somehow, and you both formed this business that you co-partner in. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. We met in the middle of the pandemic, over Zoom. And what happened was um, when we were hearing all the stories about people dying from COVID, that, the dynamic was, it's people with comorbidities. So typically, two or more chronic diseases, that they were having the most complications and death, and especially in the Black community, that we were just like, hey, we've got the solution. Just eliminate the chronic disease, right? If you eliminate the chronic disease, you basically increase your odds of not having any complications. And, several studies have come out since then that people who eat whole food plant based have the lowest mortality rate as far as COVID goes, and also the fewer severe symptoms if they get it, and a lot of times they don't get it. And that comes back to the immune boosting benefits of food. But, we were just like, hey, just reverse the disease and you alleviate the problem. This was before the vaccines and all of that. So we had this shared radical empathy for people who were, at risk or struggling with this. And I got onto her podcast. She came onto my YouTube channel, and we just like hit it off right away. We just had this, it's kind of you've met you know how you meet someone and you feel like you've
Hmm.
known them for a long time, but you just
Hmm.
met them. It was kind
Hmm.
of like that type of connection.
Hmm.
And so I remembered after she was on my YouTube channel, I asked her if she knew of someone who could write a blog article for me about the Daniel fast. And she had used the Daniel fast to basically as
Mm,
her jumping off point to a plant-based lifestyle after
mm,
losing a child.
mm,
Um, and so it was like basically her story, but in a how-to kind of blog post. And so she wrote it, and then I remember I was working out on my bike trainer, just regular, just regular day on my bike trainer. I just started thumbing through the blog post on my phone, and I was like, you know what, this would make a great program. I think this could help a lot of people. And so I emailed her while I was on the bike. I said, hey, would you like to collaborate and, create something? I'm not kidding. Like within seconds, it was like, yes. It was almost like she was waiting at her computer for me to ask her this question. And she just said, yes, exclamation,
mm,
exclamation. And so, anyway, we just kind of got together and set up a series of like weekly Zoom calls, and just over the course of a few months created this program, created a Facebook group. It has evolved in adding the recipe website and the boot camp and some other things. I mean, we had a version of the boot camp from the get go, but we evolved it, and we've always been trying to make things better, more robust with feedback that we get from people. Really, to make sure, really, what we're trying to do is help people feel, I think the Holy Spirit nudges people. And a lot of times, like, I didn't listen. It's kind of like you don't listen because you don't want to give up your vices. You don't want to give up those comforting habits of,
mm,
eating these foods that taste good in the moment, but also leave you feeling guilty afterwards. And so we put this program together with the topics that we cover, to really try and, touch people at a soul level. And it's not us. This is, God. I think God is speaking through us to people, because we want to help people not use food in substitution for God, and I
mhm,
think that's what a lot of us do. We have stressors, we have traumas, we have situations that happen to us. and we gravitate towards the food and more food and more food, and this unhealthy relationship to stuff it down, stuff it down. And so this helps to bring it to light, bring it to the surface. And so that way, we hope that, what we do and the way we go about it convicts people, helps to convict people to get that deep rooted why of getting healthy, for the glory of God, and not this, I want to get healthy because I want to look cute in my dress when I go to my class reunion. I mean, that's a byproduct that happens naturally, but that's not what we focus on. That's not why we exist. So
very good. When will your next boot camp be, Gigi? Or do you have...
the week, this is the week of April 15th, so it's coming up next month. It's coming up next month.
I'm going to put Gigi's contact information and website below the video. So if any of you are interested in learning more, it's a 5-day boot camp. Is that correct? Virtual.
Right, 5-day.
It's virtual.
Virtual.
Yeah.
And and we go live nightly at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, 4:30 Pacific. There are replays available. If you can't attend the actual live or miss a live, you can watch the replay. There's homework assignments. It's very interactive, very powerful. Women who have gone through our boot camp have lost, we've had one lady lose over 90 pounds, several other women losing over 40, 50 pounds. So a lot of weight loss, a lot of coming off of medications, from lowering A1C levels, improving high blood pressure. So a lot of success stories. And it's wonderful because I think it's helping people break free from that scale mentality as well, because it's more about, even though the weight loss is happening, it's more about, and I'll quote someone in our group who said, I now, I've adopted the lifestyle and I'm elevating it with, exercise. Never was a person that would go to the gym. And now she says, I meet Jesus at the gym. She's like, that's what I do. Even if I'm, if I don't feel like going, it's like, I have to meet Jesus at the gym. So bye, honey, I'm headed to the gym. I have to meet Jesus at the gym. So, I mean, that says it all, because it's all about, it's about getting healthy for your divine purpose, because God has a purpose for each and every one of us. But we can't be sick. We can't be bogged down with medical appointments and side effects from medications and all the things that come along with chronic illness. He needs us operating at our highest level, and to be able to be called at any age, whether you're 60, 70, 80, 90, you have to really see your health as a spiritual practice. And I think when you do that, and you get that deep rooted why, it makes the decision making around what food I put at the end of my fork a lot easier. It just becomes, hey, I'm doing this out of obedience. I'm doing this out of obedience. So that's exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna tilt let me take this off. Let's see, and I'll tilt my camera.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pin you back so you are on the air there.
All right. So I turned it down, and it looks like I'm going to grab a fork just to test my carrots. I think they're cooked. I tried to chop them a little smaller so they cook a little bit faster. Make sure they're kind of tender. Yeah, they're soft. Okay, they're cooked through. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I gotta grab my little hand blender. Let's see. There it is. I mentioned I got my kitchen redone, so I'm using this opportunity to try to do a better job with organization. Starting with a clean slate. So let me turn this down a little bit.
Is that an induction burner, Gigi, that you have there?
Yeah, it's just a cooktop. Well, I don't know if it's just an electric cooktop, so I'll just lift it. So
Oh,
I just
electric.
plug it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just an electric cooktop. Yeah, just something I got off of Amazon. All right, so I am going to put this in here. I don't know if I have to mute myself though. I think Zoom automatically mutes, but I'll mute it just in case so it's not disruptive. And then I'm just gonna blend it. All right.
So you
So a
pretty
couple
much blended the whole thing, right, Gigi, or partially?
right. I would say I blended it about 90%. And you could blend it all the way and make it real smooth and creamy, or you could even just, it's really just whatever texture appeals to you. So this is pretty creamy right now. Not like velvety creamy, but it's pretty creamy. And so the last couple ingredients I'm going to add to this are, I'm going to add some nutritional yeast, and you want about 1 to 2 tablespoons. I've just got a little bit left in this package, so I'm just going to dump it in here just to use it up. And then you want about 1.5 tablespoons of miso paste. So I'm going to eyeball this, but you could certainly measure it. And this gives it a little salty umami goodness.
I don't think I've ever seen miso paste in my store. It's always in a tub.
Yeah, well, this one I actually got through Thrive Market. I was, I buy from them every so often. So, but yeah, I have the tub kind at my grocery store as well. And this just kind of mixes in here. And then I have 2 more things I'm going to add to this. And this is kind of a salt and pepper to taste kind of recipe. So you can make it and then obviously taste it and then adjust the seasonings. So I'm going to add some tarragon, some dried tarragon, which I don't use very often, but I absolutely love it in this recipe. It's so good.
Could this be made in an Instant Pot, Gigi, or is stovetop better for this?
You could make it in the Instant Pot, but you would still want to add the like the kale and like the miso, probably at the end.
Yeah.
And yeah, after it's been kind of cooked and blended. And now I'm going to add in, I've got, the recipe calls for about 4 cups of kale. And so I just took a whole head of kale, just because I like a lot of kale. And I like the dinosaur kale. The stems are a little bit thinner, but because I still eat the stems. Not all the way to the bottom, but because my dog likes them. So I kind of save her some. Yeah.
So we were talking before we actually started recording that in the bone class, we talk a lot about calcium and how easy it is to get it from plant foods. And I mentioned to Gigi that bean and kale soup is one of the highest calcium things you could possibly eat. So what the soup she's making right there is loaded with calcium, probably 400 or 500 milligrams per bowl.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of calcium in this. Yeah, this is good stuff here. All right, so the
So
kale's already wilting.
did you chop
Um,
that kale, or Gigi, or
I
was it just cut into chunks, or how did you?
I chopped it. I had a whole kind of bouquet of kale. It's so I just basically chopped it,
Mhm.
a few minutes before we came on and just kind of rinsed it off.
Mhm.
Um, but you can certainly get the chopped kale in the bag if you want. Um, or you could finely, do more of a finer chop to it. I like mine, I do it both ways. This is
Mhm.
kind of more of like a 1 inch kind of chop.
It's
So
funny
that
because before you put it in the pan, it looks like it'll never fit in there. There's so much, and then it
I
wilts down,
know.
it wilts down.
I Yeah, yeah. But basically it's done. So I'm gonna turn
Mm.
the heat off and just let it hang out here for a minute before I taste it. Let it stop bubbling. This electric cooktop, it takes a while to cool down and stop cooking. Takes a minute. But
Oh,
I'll do that and then I'll taste it and I'll add some salt and pepper, depending on if I need it or not. I usually don't add salt to it, just because the miso, gives me plenty of a salty flavor.
okay.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, I was going to ask. I know you used low sodium beans, or no sodium beans and low sodium soup. So I was wondering, if you're doing
yeah,
that, if you're SOS free, or if you're just low
I
salt.
yeah, I try. You know what? I am not low. I wouldn't say I'm SOS. I'm not completely salt free, as far as personally, but the recipes are designed to be either or. That's why we say a salt to taste,
Hmm.
just because some people are not. I For me, because I work out a lot. I mean, I sweat a lot. I mean, I like today I'll do 90 minutes on the bike, and salt is actually important for me to keep my electrolytes in balance. I am not predisposed to hypertension, so I don't naturally retain sodium, the way some people might.
Hmm.
So I do need a little bit of salt just to keep my electrolytes in balance.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm not completely SOS free. If you saw
Hmm.
the amount of sweat I leave underneath my bike tray, you'd be like, yeah, you need
Hmm.
some salt.
Uh-huh.
So,
So this
yeah.
recipe is in your cookbook that you've got in the bundle. And how many other
Yep.
recipes are in there, Gigi?
We've got over 40 in the bundle.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's a combination of some sauces, like dressings, like salad dressings, some breakfast items, some snacks, the entrees like this soup, as well as a few desserts and a couple mocktail recipes in there as well. So
Really? Okay.
yeah, it's got a nice, collection of different recipes for people to try. And yeah, like I said, they're all, no oil, high nutrient density, no added sugars. Everything's
Hmm.
sweetened with like dates or some other fruit. And
Hmm.
yeah, so very healthy.
Love it. Just love it. So if you are watching this and you're interested in Gigi's cookbook and everything else, the video of their Daniel fast, why you should only do it once, which is a book they have written that Gigi and Sersie have written, then get the ultimate. Well, I'm sorry, last year it was called the ultimate bundle. This year it's called the vegan health bundle. And the link to that bundle is below the video. And it's only good through midnight on March 10th, 2024. So jump in now because it's over $8,000 worth of products for $49. I mean, you will not find that deal. That's over 99% off.
Yeah,
If you
that's
calculate
amazing.
that out, yeah. And you probably won't want everything that's in the bundle. I mean, let's be honest, there's things in there that won't appeal to everyone. But even if you found like 5 things, you're way ahead of the curve. You're still getting a great deal, but you're going to find more than 5 things. I'm just saying, if that's all you found, it would still be a good deal.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So again, I've got the burger class in there, the bone class, the PDF of my ebook, the Plan A diet. So many other things are in there. There's one called Plantable Fare with an Italian Flair, 40 Italian dishes, which I'm Italian, so I have to definitely look at that. There's so many things. Dr. Nikki Davis, how to cook vegan. Vegan kids can cook. So if you have a child or a grandchild, she's got cooking demos with her 11-year-old on how to incorporate cooking for children, which is awesome, I think. And just so many other things that you'll be amazed. It'll be overwhelming, I think, when you look at it. That's why you have a whole year to decide what you'd like to download and then download that product when you're thinking about it so that you have it forever.
Yeah.
So thank you so much again, Gigi. What is your website and how can people
Yeah.
find you?
Yeah. Danielsplate.com is our recipe website. And healthyformypurpose.com is kind of our main website, but we've got tons of wonderful recipes on Daniel's Plate, as well as things like these entrees, like I mentioned, but mocktails, some desserts, appetizers, snacks, like just some great meal prep recipes as well, because I think meal prep is so, helpful and important when you're trying to, stay on a healthy path. Having that food ready to go to eat when you need it during the week. And so we've got a ton of wonderful meal prep recipes to choose from. But yeah, thank you, Sid, so much for having me on your show here and allowing me to cook this meal. I'm definitely going to be digging in. I got my rice ready. I got my soup ready. I'm going to dig in.
Perfect. So you're adding rice to that, just to double check. You're going to add a little rice to it?
I'm just gonna put a little scoop of rice on
A
top.
scoop.
Yeah,
Okay, that'll
after
be
I dish
good.
it up. Yeah,
That'd be
yeah. Do
awesome.
you want me to do that for the I can dish it up right now if you want.
Oh, it's up to you.
Yeah, I'll dish it up. I'll dish
All
it up.
right.
Let me grab a little bowl here. And a little ladle. Yeah, just so you could see the final product here. This just smells amazing. That tarragon, I tell you. All right, a little more. All right, I'm gonna grab some rice. All right, so let me turn this down so you could see it. So this is what I came up with. Yeah, so
Yeah, it
just a
looks
little whole
delicious.
grain. So I mean, it's got some veggies. It's got obviously the kale, some carrots, onions, garlic, white beans, and a little scoop of kind of a multi-grain rice.
So you've got your
Yeah.
starches in there with the rice and the beans.
Yep.
And then veggies and greens. Perfect.
Yeah, this is a meal right here. So.
All right. Well, thanks again, Gigi. It's been a pleasure to have you here today and to connect. And everybody that's interested in the bundle, please click the link below the video and be sure to check out Gigi's website and maybe take advantage of the boot camp that she and Cersei are offering on April 15th. Did you say, Gigi? April 15th? Okay, everyone. Thanks for watching and we'll see you soon.
All right.